Hello everyone, it's Omae and welcome back to another Pirate King Adventures video. Today we're going through Reiju using very old characters, so if you are a returning player or someone who recently started, this team is pretty accessible. All the subs are free to play and our captain is Yamato and Ace, so very old Super Sugo unit, one of the first, so almost all players should have them by now. But they're great for this PKA because on the final stage we get special bind and bind, and they get around both of those gimmicks with their captain ability. So incredible unit. The swap also provides burn, which gets around the enemy resilience and also allows us to get through stage 1 and 2 very quickly using their swap effect. For the first team, I will be using the new Nami and Vivi as a friend captain. There is some annoying gimmicks like swap bind that very few characters in the game get around. So Nami getting around that as a friend captain is great, but if you are a new player or someone who doesn't have a lot of friend captains, I know it's difficult to find Nami friend captains. I barely have any of them and I have my friend list almost fully filled out. People are not pulling for this character. Then I have a second team which will use a unique friend captain, your own character. So no matter what your situation is, these teams will be great for you. So let's get into the first one. We are at about level 90. These teams will work for sure. They'll work until level 99. The first team I show you here should work even past level 100. Second team, the damage is not as good, but it's still pretty good. Level 99, easy. I just want to highlight this Bluegrass and Doll. Yes, it is a recent character, but I mean, if you've been playing the game for like at least a week, you should be able to do at least one run on the last PKA to get the 5-star copy. You do not need super evolution. Either way, she's going to get around the despair and the damage nullification, which is definitely the most helpful part of the team. She is quite a unique character, so hard to replace her. Damage null is of course quite a rare enemy buff for specials to reduce. We are running a mainly cerebral composition with our captain being dual Yamato and Ace. Now there is not a lot of synergy between the captains, but it doesn't matter because they are boosting our main damage dealers. The enemy has half health as a strength unit and half health as a int character on the final stage. So you want to have at least a good quick character who is cerebral because the enemy's weakened status is to cerebral characters. They deal an extra 2x damage. So you want to have at least one good quick cerebral character and one good psi cerebral. So on this team, our friend Captain Nami is the quick cerebral. She's of course boosted with stats as well. And then we have Gordon, free to play here, who is a free spirit cerebral. He is boosted by Yamato and Ace since he is a free spirit, and of course has cerebral class dealing extra damage. Gordon is really just here to provide cooldown to our dual Yamato, and of course be a damage dealer, a stat stick essentially. He also gives matching orbs, so that's pretty nice, but he's not really there for his chain lock. We will get a chain boundary from Yamato, which is another reason why this character is so good. There is chain minimum attack done of 3x for stage 4 and 5, so having dual Yamato and Ace is going to help us immensely. We have Brook there to get around threshold and resilience on the final stage. Any Luffy support will work as long as it's a Luffy character to fulfill Brook's condition to provide us with enemy increased damage taken in his special. We have Vegapunk there just for paralysis reduction. And then on stage 3, we use the swap effect of Nami and Vivi to get around enemy defense up since there is no immunity. We get an attack boost and a conditional boost from the dual Yamato and Ace, an orb boost from the friend captain, a chain boundary from dual Yamato's super swap effect, which will be fully ready thanks to the friend captain charging our switch effect gauge. And I think that's about it. You can add a support if you want for color affinity. There surely is a decent cerebral color affinity support. But let's not spend too long here and let's get straight into the quest. You could use this Vivi, but she's free spirit mainly, so your main damage units will be getting this. The friend captain Nami Vivi is a free spirit cerebral character. Our Gordon is also a free spirit, so you can use that Vivi support if you want for 1.3x color affinity. This is the team that should be able to go past level 100, so adding that color affinity will help quite a bit. You can also add a support for chain boost since we don't have that on the final stage. So there's a lot of things you can add if you want to add more damage, but as is, the team really doesn't require any supports besides a Luffy character on Brook, as I mentioned before. But is there any good? Yeah, we can use Marco on Yamato and Ace for extra chain if you want. And you also need a ship that will reduce paralysis by 1 turn. So I do recommend the Whale Sharks because it only requires mod 1 to get the paralysis utility. It's also just a great ship in general, gives us cooldown to make sure that we get our specials ready. If you don't have the mod 2, you might have to stall 1 extra turn. But I think we also needed to make our recovery orbs counted as beneficial. So very good ship. But let's get straight into it. Of course, Nami, Vivi, friend captain. It doesn't really matter what form you start in. Either way, we're going to be in the quick form on the final stage. We don't need to use this swap on the final stage. So we have a few Nami Vivis. Let's just start off in Vivi's form. Super Tandem boost as well, but we don't really have Super Tandem here, so it's not too much of an issue or something we should worry about. So we do get a full board of recovery orbs thanks to Bluegrass and Doll's Sailor ability, made matching with the ship, of course. Now, for both stage 1 and 2, you want to be swapping your characters, your top row. You also get special rewind on stage 4. We get special rewind on stage 4. Also, the volume is a bit high, but we are going to be ignoring that because we are using Nami and Vivi on the final stage. They have their cooldown already by then. Okay, so on stage 2 here, once again, we're just going to swap. So Gordon is quite a unique character, but he's going to allow our Yamato and Ace to get 4 turns of cooldown. Because he gives top row 2 turns, and then an extra character can get 2 turns. So incredibly helpful. And as you can see, the burn handles the weak mobs. So here on stage 3, we get paralysis. 3 turns, completely reduced thanks to our Vivi friend captain. So you don't actually need to use a Vegapunk. He's just kind of there. So I mean, if you want more damage, you could definitely replace Vegapunk with someone else to give a color affinity or anything like that. Territory, set target, anything that'll help with damage extra. We'll use the super swap effect of Nami and Vivi, and then we can kill off Pudding. Now I'm a bit worried about this special rewind because it really can mess us up. But we can use Vivi and Nami's super class to give them cooldown, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So we can use Bluegrass Doll to get despair reduction and remove the damage. Now we do have chain minimum attack down. We can use our Nami and Vivi here. That'll also give the enemy increased damage taken. We use this special to remove the slot bind. The slot bind will be 7 turns beyond level 100. Vivi and Nami will remove all turns. It also will charge our switch effect gauge for Yamato and Ace, so that's pretty nice. And also removes the chain minimum attack down. So that's another benefit of having Nami and Vivi as your friend. Like, I think there's only like 3 characters in the game that remove chain minimum attack down. You have the treasure map, or just the exchange legend Ace. He removes it with his captain, I'm pretty sure. But from a special, no, there's not a lot of characters that do that. But anyways, enough rambling. We'll use Vegapunk on the final stage. There's really no need to use it here. And then on the final stage, yeah, Gordon will make sure we have guaranteed matching orbs. But since we don't tap on all of our characters from stage 1 and 2, we can save most of those recovery orbs. So orbs really aren't a problem on this team. Then we get a chain boost. We can use our Gordon on our Yamato and Ace. Now, one thing I'm a bit worried about, we won't have access to the conditional attack boosts, unfortunately. But we can still get the attack boost. It's not that much of a train smash. What you could do is, since we were missing 3 turns there, you could use someone like any cooldown reducing support that will give cooldown, 2 turns of cooldown on the final stage could work. We get the base attack boost here. Use Brook to remove the threshold. You only need to use the second activation of Brook past level 100. That also gives the enemy increased damage taken. Also, you should have swapped the Nami into Vivi's form so you have a quick unit. And then, of course, tap with Vivi and Nami first because they will have type advantage for the first off the enemy's HP. And then tap on Gordon and you should be fine. Now, I don't think this will last until 150 just because that conditional boost from Ace and Vivi don't last. I mean, Ace and Yamato. But as I said, you can replace Vegapunk. You don't need him because remember, Vivi and Nami remove paralysis. So that was a bit of an oversight, but that just means the team can get even better, right? So I'm just going to make some quick changes, show you guys what you can do to make that team even better. And then we can move on to the second team, which will use no friend captain. Well, the thing is, past level 100, when you actually need that damage increase from having the conditional boost from Ace and Yamato special, we actually get an extra 2 turns of special rewind on stage 4. So it's going to be essentially impossible to get stage 2 special of Ace and Yamato. So keep Vegapunk there, use his orb boost that he gets from his special on the final stage, instead of the base attack boost, which I chose. That way you have an attack boost, orb boost, color affinity, chain boundary, chain boost. You don't need that conditional boost to get quite far. Once again, probably not level 150, but you will be able to get fairly far, at least to level 130. But anyways, let's get straight into the second team, which will be using the Carrot and Wanda Legend. This character is great for giving cooldown, making the team a no-stall team. Now, this is one that I think you should only be using to get to level 99. Past that, the damage will cease to be sufficient. So let's get straight into the Hiking Adventures match. Now, for this one, we're actually using a friend captain, Yamato and Ace. The reason we're not using them as the captain this time is because we actually need that Brûlé support on Carrot and Wanda to give them an extra turn of cooldown. Another option to replace could be Mistums. I don't think you can use the Shanks. Use a special to reduce special charge, reduces his own special. Yes, you can also use Shanks. Use Shanks, Mistums, or Brûlé. Either one of those work to give 1 extra turn of cooldown to Carrot and Wanda. Of course, if you have them Number Break expanded, I don't think you need any of those supports. So this team is a lot less accessible because we are using support characters here quite a bit. Guillotine is from the Saint Saturn batch or the 5 Elders batch. We have 6 plus Zoro. Any chain boosting support should work, but I think this is the easiest one to use. You don't need the chain boosting support, but it will help immensely with damage. You could use this Sanji. Yeah, you can use Sanji as well, because we are using Brook only on the final stage. So Sanji works as well. 6 plus Sanji, one of the oldest legends in the game. Everyone should have him. That's way more accessible. And then once again, we are using Yamato and Ace as a friend captain. This character is incredible. Just so perfect for this piece of content. Once again, it doesn't really matter what form they start in. Yamato Ace and dual Carrot and Yamato. Carrot and what's her face? Wanda. These characters are going to be dealing essentially no damage on the team because they don't boost each other. It's kind of weird. They don't boost each other, but they both boost our main damage dealers, which is going to be Hawkins. Surprisingly, treasure map Hawkins. You can get him in the treasure map exchange with the blue tickets you've just gotten from treasure map. He does need level Number Break 5. And then we have Nami, who is also a cerebral striker. Since she's a striker, both Hawkins and Nami are striker cerebral characters, which means they get boosted by both captains to their max. And of course, cerebral meaning they have an extra 2x damage against the final boss. We are going to be doing the same strat here with swapping our Ace and Yamato here to get around the enemies with burn. We aren't using the super swap of Carrot and Wanda anytime in this quest, so don't worry about using that or charging it up. It's a waste of time. We already get a good attack boost from our Yamato and Ace. Once again, we are saving those orbs from Bluegrass and Dole with stage 1 and 2's burn. And then we also have the whale sharks once again to reduce paralysis and also to give us recovery orbs counted as matching. So on stage 3, Sulong, Yamato, bro, I can't speak today, bruh. The Wanda and Carrot, they give our units an extra 2 turns of cooldown. So in total, from their captain ability, they give everyone 4 turns of cooldown, which is excellent from a captain. Yamato and Ace don't give any cooldowns to the crew, so Carrot and Wanda need to make up for that. So stage 3 here, we get about 7 turns of paralysis after level 100. Goes down to 6 with Nami's Sailor ability, down to 5 with the ship, and then down to 0 with Nami's special. So even past level 100, the team works with the gimmicks. It's just the damage might not be enough. And that also give us some matching orbs. We can then use the special of Carrot and Wanda to get the enemy's defense to 0. You don't need to use their swap effect. It's pretty useless. Hawkins should be able to one-tap. Let's just start off the chain with the chain boundary, however. Okay, Hawkins destroys it. And then once again on the final stage, we'll have Nami stage 1 ready again, which will allow us to get our matching orbs once again. Special rewind, quite annoying. We get our slot bind. Past level 100, this will be 7 turns of it. Hawkins only reduces 5. But by the time we reach final stage, it should be gone. Does the enemy revive on stage 4? No, because we fight Reiju on stage 5. So Hawkins actually won't work. We'll still have 1 turn of slot bind on the final stage. So yeah, just use this team past up to level 99. Beyond that, it's really not going to be working because your damage will be so bad on stage 4 and 5 with slot bind. But it's perfectly fine here. We only get 3 turns of slot bind. Hawkins works perfectly fine. Bluegrass Doll, remove despair and damage nullification. And give the chain boost with guillotine, which alongside the chain boundary from Yamato Ace is easily enough to get past the chain minimum of 3x. You just need to hit 3 perfects and then kill off with Nami. Easy kill. And then on the 5th stage, we are going to go up against Reiju. 50% strength, 50% int. Hawkins and Nami are going to destroy her. So we get bind and special bind. Yamato Ace, ignore that. The support allows us to get Wanda and Carrot special back for another orb boost. So it's not needed, but it does help with damage a lot. We can use Yamato and Ace's swap effect. Unfortunately, we can't get their swap effect gauge to max. So we are having to deal with a weaker chain boundary effect. We can then use Carrot and Wanda special for an orb boost. We are 2 turns of cooldown away from using stage 2 on Yamato and Ace, but it is what it is. We can use the swap effect and special. That'll give us an attack boost. We already have an orb boost. Matching orbs guaranteed thanks to Nami. And then remove the enemy buffs. And we can get an additive buff from Brook. Now, if you don't have Sanji or the other chain boosting support Zoro 6+, just put a Luffy support because it'll give the enemy increased damage taken. So that makes up for damage a bit. If you don't have a chain additive buff, you will have to hit all 5 perfects and then only your 6th character will get past the chain minimum attack down. But with this setup, only 4 perfects and we should be fine. Or even 3. Okay, let's do this. We're going to start and finish off with our main damage dealers. Hawkins first, and then Nami. So as you can see, pretty easy kill. Hawkins shredded through the first half, and then Nami only did that last bit of damage, so should easily deal with level 99. Past that, the slot bind will be an issue, so just leave the team at that, and it should be fine. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about the teams, or you need replacements, somehow you need replacements, ask me down below. But with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you're feeling generous. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. I'm out.